Hey. Mhm. Can you hear the music?
Yeah, I heard this before.
Okay, welcome back, guys. It's been a while. Underdog 63, if I'm not mistaken, or 64 in the building. 63. Guest today is one and only Christian Olutayo Omoseni. Welcome, sir. Some may know him, but let me just give you a brief introduction. He's a brother to some, a father to one, a husband to one. He's a Christian. He's a double bachelor degree holder in chemistry and environmental engineering. And he's here to just shed a little light on his underdog story today. So thank you for joining us, Christian. Appreciate you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get right to it. I
Oh
know
yeah.
you're a busy man. I know you got a lot on your plate. So again, look,
I ain't that busy.
I appreciate you doing this for me, man. It means a
Yeah,
lot.
it's all good. It's all good. You can owe me one.
I'm probably gonna owe you a few after this. So let's for those who don't know you, tell us about your journey from Nigeria to the US to where you are now, the greater Wilmington area, and how that kind of all unfolded. Floor is yours.
Well, uh, it's I'm gonna condense it, and it's a long story, but I'm gonna condense
Sure,
it. And
sure.
you probably know, high percentage of this, my story,
Mm-hmm.
which is, but I'll of course shed a little light. So I live mostly in the Solo or Kota area, in Lagos. Went to school, high school there, although I did high school back then. Shout out to my high school. Um, Graduated around 2009, of course, then got to college. Then I went to Covenant University. That's what I did, industrial chemistry. Um, Actually, when I wanted to go to Covenant, I wanted to do chemical engineering, but
Mm.
you have to take an entrance exam to actually get into that program. But I had like 5 scores lower than I what I needed to have, so
Okay.
they put me in chemistry. So I did chemistry for 4 years. Then after graduating, after 4 years, I came to the States. My dad won a lottery, and then we got
Mhm.
here. We came through Chicago. I tell you, my first experience in this country was a rough one. When you get out the airport out here, no one tells you about Chicago being a windy city.
Hmm.
So
What
that
month
breeze,
was it when you came?
November,
Oh, Jesus.
yo, that wind literally blew my mind.
I bet.
It blew my mind. Like I was moving with the wind direction. It was
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah. So we got to the country. Then we were
Hmm.
living in one of my dad's friend who was staying southside Chicago. We were there for like a month. My mom was like, "Yeah, we can't stay here. We need to get out of here." I think she heard one gunshot one night. She's like, "Yeah, we can't be here.
Wow.
No, we can't stay here." And then we went to North Chicago. Of course, I was trying to push for a master's program, right? And
Hmm.
I went to University of Chicago. Um,
Hold on, let me
I
stop you there
applied.
for a second. Let me stop you
Yes.
there real quick. Pause. So most people will be like, I have my bachelor's, I'm good, let me just find a job. What made you continue to push like I'm gonna get a master's, if you could?
Yes. So I go here, and then with my degree that I got from Nigeria, I couldn't do anything with it.
Really?
I Yes, I couldn't do anything with chemistry. Maybe I didn't go to the right places. Maybe I didn't get the right information.
Mm.
In in hindsight, I think I did not have the right information, because I felt like, with I've met some people that came here with foreign degrees and they still found a way to use it. So
Mm.
what happened was, when I went to the schools, they asked me to get my transcript so they
Right.
can, do what they want
Evaluate.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
evaluate them. Then they were like, okay, if I want to, this is what happened. So I wanted to go do a master's in chemical engineering. So they
Hmm.
said, let's evaluate your transcript. They did the evaluation and they said, oh, you have to go back and take this class, that class, this class. That I'm like, yo,
Mm,
you already are like telling me to start again. Like, why would I go take all those classes? Like, well, that's how you that's the only choice you have, you know. So I was
mm.
like, you know what? I can't do this. I'm not gonna go back to school and take all those classes again. So so I was going to a church back in Chicago, Jesus House, Chicago.
Yeah,
Someone
I'm
advised
familiar
me.
with them. Yeah.
Yeah, someone advised me and they was like, hey, just go, you're young. I was what, 21, 22. I was 22 then. It's like, hey, just go back, just go get a job, start working, and then go back to city colleges, just start taking classes, just start taking classes. It's gonna be in 4 years, 5 years, it's gonna go by so quickly. Just go back to school. A lot of us
Mm,
did that. That's what the person told me. So of course, my first job in Chicago was at Payless.
mm,
That was a bad experience. Coming to the country with a strong Nigerian accent, and
mm.
then I'm out there trying to say, "Hey, hello, welcome to Payless. What shoe do you want to buy today, or what can I help you?" Blah blah blah. Yo, I be talking so much, my mouth be hurting, man. It be hurting for real. Like after every 2 hours, I have to go take
Ew.
water. I'm like, yo, I've talked so much. And imagine that strong accent I was using.
Yeah, man.
This was the height of disrespect. My manager, right? She's
Hmm.
American, right? And then so the reason why I got the job is because my mom went there to shop and she found a Nigerian girl there. It's like, hey, hey,
Mm.
hey, hey, I have a son. No, no, no. And then the lady kind of helped me out and got me the job.
Okay.
So anytime I'm interacting with the manager, if she can't hear me,
She'll
she will
call
call
the.
she will call the girl to come and interpret. I'm like, listen, that was the height of
Oh
disrespect.
man.
Like I'm like, I can hear you, yeah, but how is it that you can't hear me properly? Like I'm saying, I'm speaking English. You just are not opening your ears enough to get
Hmm.
what I'm saying. So of course that kind of like exposed me to the labor force
But
in the states.
that had to be humbling. I mean, coming
Oh,
from Nigeria with a full bachelor's degree in chemistry, industrial chemistry, and you're
right.
reduced to having to work at Payless. So what was going through your mind in that moment?
I wasn't happy. I
Huh.
can tell you that. Anytime I go to work, although I have to just that same humility can work both ways in the sense that I'm humble enough to know that this is not where I'm supposed to be, but I'm
Mm,
not doing it begrudgingly.
mm,
I'm not mad every day or
mm,
excited. I wake up every day excited. So I'm going to work. In my mind, I'm learning how to be American. So I
mm.
have to be out there. So there are some experiences you have to go through to get to some places and then be able to, talk intelligently about certain things. But
Of
if you don't
course.
have that knowledge, you haven't gone through some things, some experiences, you will just be, you might get where you want to get to as fast as you can, but you might not be happy where you are or something. But I
Mm,
went through that phase and, it kind of raw material into being a product. That's exactly how I went
mm.
through it. I didn't
I like that
skip
analogy.
I didn't skip one phase.
Mm,
I went through it. So of course, um I worked there for like a year plus and then I started going to school at City College of Chicago.
okay.
And I was also taking classes at Aris Wilson also. One is
Hmm.
downtown, one is North Chicago. I was taking classes and then I did that for about 2 years. And then I moved to Georgia.
Why the move from Chicago to Georgia? Was it the weather or
Well, the weather was a big factor, but I helped my mom get a house in Georgia.
okay?
So I was like, man, what am I paying for rent here in Chicago when I have a house in Georgia and I can go help my
Mm,
mom out? I help her help pay the rent, help pay some of the bills, just help her out. So I was like, let me just move to Georgia and do that. And then I made that move. And then I applied to Kennesaw State. So they didn't have chemical engineering as a program. But the very best next program I could do was environmental engineering.
mm,
I thought about doing civil engineering, but I just environmental just felt more like home to me in the sense that environmental has more chemistry. So
mm.
I can use my chemistry background to help myself in college. So,
Pause. Do you regret looking back at the decision you made to pivot and go with environmental as opposed to chemical engineering? Do you
oh
regret
no,
making that decision?
oh no,
Okay.
I don't. I
Okay.
don't. Because I will actually shed more light to the reason um into the podcast.
Okay.
Um, so I did environmental, and believe you me, that whole process of the other 2 3 years I had spent in Kansas State, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't feel like I was in college
Really?
because I already had I had 80% of the
Okay.
tools I needed to just pass those classes. I didn't have to like study hard. I was working full time, 40 hours a week,
Mm.
and also full time. I was a full time student too, taking because I was trying to get it done quickly so I can graduate as fast as I could. And and I also took a year off. When I moved from Chicago to Georgia, I took a year off before going back to school
Mm.
because I came here, I had to, you know,
Adjust.
adjust, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing when I first got to Georgia, I was doing Uber. I just got a car, so I was Ubering around. Then I got a job at one of those um what are the marketing jobs. I was selling direct TV at Walmart. I did that for a little bit. I
Mm.
actually got fired from that job. That's one job I tell you that I cannot I couldn't do it because those guys, their energy was just so intense. I just
Mm.
couldn't understand it. I just couldn't operate in that kind of environment. Um, so I left that one too. And then of course I graduated college in December of 2020. I didn't even go to the graduation. I didn't care.
Why? Oh,
I
okay.
All I cared about was just
Give
landing
me
a
my
job.
degree.
Just get my degree. I want to start doing. I want to work. You know,
Okay.
I want to do something. You know,
In
as
your
Nigerians,
field.
yeah, as Nigerians, we pride ourselves in doing something that can something of substance.
Of course.
Not to demean other jobs, but
Right.
that's the reason why I spent those years going back to school. So I didn't even I didn't care about the graduation. I didn't go. I think I was in Chicago then. I went to go see my dad, so I couldn't attend the graduation. That's why. Um, so, and of course, this part, then a couple of months later, I was finding hard to get a job. So my first job was, of course, out at Winder as a quality technician,
Mm-hmm.
which you know about. So I was there for what 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and then you left me, right? So then I was saying, it's gone. I gotta go too.
Mm.
So I was like, because think about it, as soon as you left, you know, in our work group, it was just me left. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh,
It
you
was
could
just
say it. It's okay.
yeah. It was just me left. I was like,
Yeah.
and I didn't have a bad rep there, but still, I was like, man, I have to start finding a way out of here. And then God helped me out. I applied to a was environmental engineering position that opened up in Wilmington. And funny enough, that job had been opened up for 6 months to a year.
Mm.
They just couldn't find a candidate. Initially, they wanted to hire someone that had experience.
Mm.
But then they couldn't find someone. They're like, you know what, let's just find someone that we can train. It don't matter. And not long after was when I applied. And listen, the way I got the job, that was the quickest job I've ever gotten.
Mm.
It was just effortless. Like in the interviews, it didn't feel like an interview. I felt
Mm.
like I already had the job. It was just like they're trying to know me, trying to understand who I am because
Right.
I'm trying to move to a new state and all that kind of stuff. So I made the move, and I've been working here now for a year and some change, and it's been great.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me go back to the list of questions. Now that you have this job in environmental engineering, you have your dream job. You mentioned about being one of the only ones, and that kind of motivated you to want to leave Winder. What's the most difficult part of your job now that you'll be like, man, I hate this part? If you don't mind sharing.
Man, all jobs they all have the difficulties, and they
Mm-hmm.
all, you can all evaluate them differently depending on each individual person. Sometimes you might have the same issue at a job, but I might ignore it and say I don't care. But that might be a top of your list as a difficult thing to align yourself
Do
with.
right.
Yeah. But for me, I would say one of the difficult things about my job is me just it might be funny. It's me just waking up early in the morning.
Mm.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I have to be up at like 6:30. Even at other jobs I've done, I have to get up early. I don't know. For some reason, I was fine with it. But for this one, maybe because I'm just doing purely days and I'm doing it's more of like a management position. So you have
Yeah,
this like, 9 to 5, but it's more like 7 to like 5. That's one thing that I don't really like about it. And the pressure of the people you're working with. Like some people I work with, some of them show up at 6:30 and stay till like 5. They're
that's
working like
crazy.
11 hours. I'm like, ain't I mean about to do all that.
Mm.
So of course that pressure is on you in the sense that I'm working with older people. People who are, respectable in the community. They're older people, they have accolades. Some of them are professional engineers, some of them are master's degree owners, some of them I've had experience of over 20 something plus years, 30 something plus years.
Mm.
When you work with people like that, they have vast knowledge that when you do things not up to their level, they start looking at you in some type of way.
Mm.
So that's also another pressure. So the problem is not just one phase. It just depends on where you're working at. Like my other jobs, like the job from UndR, right, where me and you were working, I didn't have that same pressure
Mm.
because I was hourly and I had to train for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm training. After I got done with training, then they hired me, right, and then I was like, oh, I'm comfortable.
Mm.
But here, it's not that same level of comfortability because the job itself is so complex in the sense that I'm responsible for everything compliance at the site.
Mm.
So if anything goes wrong,
It's on you.
it's on me. I'm like in my department is me and my manager, but my
Mm.
manager it's also funny. My manager is not really gonna take the fall. He's gonna be like, yeah, it's Christian.
Mm.
I'm managing him, but he's responsible for everything environmental engineering. I'm only responsible for health and safety. So if anything goes wrong environmental, go to him, don't come to me.
Mm.
So that pressure, that's that I would say that's the biggest one. Just being responsible for everything compliance at my site.
Okay. And that leads me to my next question. A lot of people is like, man, you got to find your passion. You got to hit it hard. Work until you find your passion. So, do you believe that that's a myth, or do you think, like, in this job where you're at now, and at this stage of your life, you found your passion and you're doing what you love?
And I would say no to that. I probably won't go as far as saying finding a job where the RPS is a myth, but also I'll also say most people are doing jobs that they're the RPS in that they didn't have to put any work in at all.
Mm.
So it just depends it depends on every individual. Like we as Africans, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've been brought up that way. They've put it in our minds. It's more of like a tattoo at this point. We can, like, when you're doing something wrong or away from what they are set you to do, you can feel that pinch on
Mm.
your skin that, hey, that's not what you should be doing.
You're right.
So we all have our even with that, with each individual person with their own culture, we still have our own moral compass and our compass in general.
Mm-hmm.
So environmental, if you said, okay, can you do chemical engineering? I'll be like, yeah, and I'll be happy at it. Can
Mm.
you do environmental? I'm like, yeah, I can be happy at it. Just put any engineering in front of me, Just that engineering alone is giving me confidence that
Okay.
I'm doing something, worthwhile. I'm doing something that my parents will be proud of. Not saying other jobs are not. just for me, that's how I grew up.
Right.
If you remember, I said in college in Nigeria, I wanted to do chemical engineering. When I couldn't get into that program, of course I was, I was down, I was sad, but I had no choice. I had to do
Yeah.
chemistry. And chemistry was what helped me land my first job.
Mm.
So it's a mixture. Now, if I had no chemistry background, you think that I've done well at our job in winery?
No, no.
Yes, exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what made the manager hire me, because my degree was environmental right out of college. But he saw that I've done some chemistry work.
Mm.
So now I wouldn't tell you chemistry is my dream job, or working in the lab is my dream job, or being an environmental engineer is my dream job. But those are all jobs that I had to do to get to where I am today. Now, after
Mm-hmm.
this job I'm doing, I'm pretty confident in 3-4 years I'll be doing. It might be at the same position or the
Mm-hmm.
same location, but it's gonna be different. There's gonna be a level up, and with that level up brings you some form of happiness. I just
Mm.
have to just keep grabbing that, happiness, and keep using it to fortify yourself and use it for your next happiness. That's it.
So are you still looking for your passion? Or you think you're there now, you don't need to look?
Oh,
Because some people will be like, look, this is just my 9 to 5.
mm-hmm.
I'm passionate about the homeless. I'm passionate about mentoring kids. I'm passionate about, starting a restaurant. They may name so many different things. Or I want to one day own my own social media company. So many people have different passions. So like it seems like you've done everything that you set out to do. I guess my question for you is this where it ends for Christian, or what's next?
Oh yeah, everyone's always got a plan
Yeah, yeah.
until the bird poo-poos on it.
Hmm.
But the thing is, what I mean by bird poo-poos on it is just life in general. It's just
Right.
life. Before I got married and had a kid, I had a plan.
Hmm.
Now after I got married and had a kid, some plans changed. But there are some that would never leave your heart
Hmm.
because you have passion for it. You already mentioned it. Like starting a restaurant was one of my biggest dreams, you know. But the location where I am right now, the market would not work out for me if I open a restaurant here. It
Hmm.
just would not work out. Because starting up a business, there are so many things that have, like, not everything has to be aligned for you to start a business, but there are certain things. So you have to know your market. You have
Hmm.
to understand the location, understand what type of, product you're selling, and how to ensure you sell the maximum of it to maximize your profit.
Right.
So right now, my location will not help me out, but that's why I said before about my next level up might come with a different location,
Hmm.
and that might now and at that time I might even better suited or better ready to start my business. So my wife also has hers, so it's about us coming together and actualizing them. So let's find the best out of all the scattered plots. Let's find the best line of fit. That's exactly it. And when that line fits in, more than likely, my next best idea is what I'm going to do. So, to answer your question, the next thing I want to do is start a business.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, this is a little random. I saw this somewhere, and I thought I think it was in a movie actually. But what are the 3 most important things to you? And then I want you to rank them. So in the movie, just to preface it, person was like God, family, football, and in that order. So those were the 3 important because he was a retired football player. I think
Yeah.
it was The Best Man, part 2 that came from. So I thought that was a very interesting question. So what are 3 most important things to you? And then I want you to rank them.
Uh, that's a tough question, but I would answer you this way. Or you know what? Let me ask you. You were your top three.
I would have to say God, family, and then pursuit of perfection.
Well, I'll follow suit. God, family, and
Mhm.
pursuit of happiness.
Okay.
Like my man Will Smith.
I
Yeah,
like that.
for sure till till it's over.
Hmm.
Because when you're happy, you can easily just make everyone around you happy too.
Yeah.
And it's not just about financials, it's just life in general, just happy, that state of happiness.
Mm.
And a lot of people strive to get there, but life and its complexities just comes in the way of your happiness. Sometimes it's what we are running after
Mm.
that causes our unhappiness. So I would just say, even in the pursuit of happiness, you have to do it with wisdom.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to do it with wisdom. Just like everything, you just got to do it with wisdom.
In the famous words of Nigerian artist, "I Masiko Loda
No,
Moda."
no damn word, yeah.
Exactly, I
Orowa,
mean, Loa Lua
logo,
Lua,
loa, loa. Yes,
Exactly.
yes. Everything goes hands. You cannot.
Yeah.
You can. It's just like trying to push a 45,000 pounds trailer. You
Right.
can't push it. You can push. You can try it for 100 years. You're gonna
Right.
be there. You're gonna be there. You won't be able to move. You won't even push it an inch.
Hmm.
So God's time is the best time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the questions. Okay, we're almost done with the questions. We'll wrap it up. Couple more to go. Advice to your younger self or anybody who is trying to decide, to major in this, major in that, and they want to do engineering or they want to do chemistry or they want to do environmental. What advice, if you could go back and talk to your younger self, that you would say, do this differently?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So when I was doing chemistry, right, I didn't like math.
Hmm.
I didn't like it. I didn't like math at all. Right in high school, let me give you a quick story here.
Yeah.
In high school, I was failing math, but I had a rep in high school where
Mm-hmm.
everyone knew I was a break dancer. So I was in SS2, right? Some
Mm-hmm.
SS3 students, they met with me, they dragged me to a class, and then the math teacher was also there. They're like, hey, we're going to hit the bench, we're going to make a beat for you and dance. I'm like, no, I'm not dancing for you. Then the math teacher's like, you know what? I'm going to incentivize this. If you dance, I'll give you extra 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was failing. I was literally, I probably had, I probably had 30% at the
Oh,
class.
Jesus. Okay.
I was failing.
Hmm.
So because like, I'm going to give you extra 20 if you dance. So I had to dance my way into passing,
That's
into getting
crazy.
50% in math. So when I go to college in Nigeria, of course, that same trend followed me up to college. So I never really liked math. But if I could go back, I would probably have brushed up my math skills because that would have helped me out a lot. Because why I didn't get into chemical engineering was math.
Mm.
I was good at chemistry, the physics, the normal geography and all of that stuff. But math, I wasn't really good at it. And that's what hindered me from going to chemical engineering. So if I could go back, that's just one thing I would have. So if I were to advise someone or advise people listening, just take it seriously. Take everything seriously. Whatever
Mm.
course or subject you think you don't know or you just don't care about it because you're good at, let's say you have 10 subjects, you're good at 9. Try to be good at 10.
Mm.
You're gonna need all 10. You're gonna need it. Because I didn't know I was gonna come back here and do engineering. So now when I started college here in City College of Chicago, that's when I started learning math. Because
Mm.
I started math from the um from the beginning. I started with, I don't know, this math 101 or whatever. I started from the beginning. And I taking math classes when I did chemistry in Nigeria, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I just went with the flow and I was able to pass those classes. But I never truly understood math. So one
So,
advice is just understand those subjects.
so do you think the education system, when you compare the US to other foreign countries, Nigeria, where we're from, do you think Nigeria's education is lacking? Because you
Mm,
mentioned how a 50 was passing for that math class. Most people would be like 50 out of 100. My guy, that's an F. You
yeah.
know, how's that passing? But like back home, it's like, oh, you passed. You got 50.
Yeah.
Move
That's a
on.
D.
Yeah,
That's a D plus
you know what I'm saying?
a C or a D.
Like,
So the thing is, the Nigerian educational system is just too tough. That's
mm,
why 50 you can still pass with the 50, because to get a in Nigeria is like a 75, I think.
yeah, there's a curve
Here is
already in high school, right?
Yeah, here is like a 90,
Mm-hmm.
and they kind of help you get there.
Yeah,
They give you all the tools, everything you need. In Nigeria, if I have an exam coming up, I have to study the entire curriculum.
yeah. You don't know what's about to be on there.
You don't know what to expect. No teacher is gonna give you a blueprint. No.
There's no study guide.
Funny enough, if you go ask them, they're gonna confuse you more.
Yeah,
If you ask them, hey, what should we study? They'll be like, study everything and then more.
that's crazy.
Study everything and more. You're like, what more? Like, read outside what I'm giving you. So, but here in the States, it's tailored in such a way that they're helping you in every way. Like college here in the States was a breeze for me.
Mm.
It was a breeze. I don't know how else to put it. It was a breeze. I didn't feel like I was going to school.
Mm.
My back then, my wife now, which was my girlfriend then, anytime I had all A's, she'd be like, "Oh, let me take you out to dinner." I'm like, "Yo, what are you doing?"
Mm.
There's no achievement there. That's not my end goal. I'm trying to secure my future by getting, a job that can help
Mm.
me out. And this is just the process of getting there. Getting all A's don't matter to me at all. But she started like, you're so smart. I'm like, no, I already went to school back home. That taught me the discipline I needed. I already had,
Mm.
so I didn't go through the struggle here that some people go through when they go to college. So
Mm.
there's just a couple of things. Like another advice would probably be just when you go to school, ensure you do the right major. Don't be like, I want to go for what's easiest.
Mm.
That won't that so and sometimes it works out. You can go for those easier
Yeah,
majors.
I've heard people who do that.
Yeah, and it works out. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, you want to go for something that challenges you. And then when you come out on top, I'm telling you, when you get out of the world, you have all the tools you need,
Mm.
because that mental strength that you got from doing that challenge and getting out of it is going to help you when you get out to the world. And when you start working and start working with people, that is going to help you just fine tune yourself. That
Okay.
starts giving you ideas on what business to do. Like the environmental engineering I'm doing right now, I probably just need 5 or 6 years of experience, and I can consult. I can consult
Mm.
easily. Someone just tell him that I can go to Nigeria and go get contracts and go clean water in Nigeria. Like I can go there, give them the process of how to clean water. You know, dirty water comes from the river, goes through a system, we clean it up, and we give them clean water back to be used domestically. So that's just a contract job I can do by consulting. And that's also a business idea. I can just start
Mm.
my business that way. So there
Mm.
are many things you can do. The sky it's not even the limit at this point. You can go further than the sky. So you just have to use yourself in the sense that you have to provide yourself with what you need to fortify your mind, to have a portfolio, to have a resume, and then when you get out there, things will come to you easily. Well, In some cases, it don't happen like that. It might take a little while. In my case, it didn't just come easy. It didn't
Right.
come easy. It took me 8+ years,
So
to
now look
actually
at you now.
look at me now, to actually actualize some of my dreams, not even all of them. So it's gonna take you a little bit. And if you want to think about it biblically, it took the Israelites 40 years to get the promised land. And some people didn't even get to see it. Moses didn't get to see it, because he had certain issues. So relate that also to the life we're living in right now. No matter how good you're having it, if you have some of those bad traits that can stop you from getting to where you need to get to, you have to drop them.
No, you got a point, a very valid point. I want to say thank you so much for sharing your underdog story with us. Just to talk a little bit about sports, if we have some time. First, let me ask you this: who was your greatest underdog? Well, it could be sports, it could be personal life, could be like somebody you look up to, a mentor. It could be, some people even say their dad. Like some people. It depends on how you want to answer the question. If you want to go sports, I'm all for it. Some people like the 2010 Patriots or the Giants. A lot of people use different things. I'll leave the floor to you to decide. Who's your greatest underdog story?
You're making me think here. I probably won't go sports because every team has got they all got the chances to win the championship or whatnot. They all, if it's basketball players, it's 5 players on the court playing. It just depends on how the roster is constructed.
Right.
On the football field, it's the same thing too. It's just players playing against each other. It's just who has more, who wants it more. So I would say my best underdog story would just probably be me. Probably me. I didn't think I would be here today. To be honest with you, I didn't know how things was gonna look. I just had that hope. I had that faith that if I kept on the right path, I'll eventually get to where I am today. So, and this is not even the finished product. We're still in process.
Still baking.
We're still baking. We're still in process. So
I heard that.
Yeah. So I would give myself the title. I'd have given myself a little figurine.
Trophy.
A trophy. Yeah, that's what I meant. Trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you go to sports, of course, Kobe Bryant is just one of those guys that appeal to me. That mentality that he had, that seriousness he had to his job. May God rest his soul.
Yeah.
But Kobe would. I don't know if his story was an underdog story, but
I mean, I feel like it was, man, because 18 in high school, coming to the league, traveled all over the world, learned to play basketball in Italy, and privileged to be able to come to the league, and with all that weight on your shoulders, especially after Michael Jordan was just about to retire, and to be like, look, because his number was 8 at first, and then he switched it to 24. It was like, I want to be one over Jordan. I don't want to be Jordan. I want to be better than him.
Better than him.
Yeah, I mirrored my game to copy exactly his game, but I'm better. I'm like, damn, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. But Kobe was he was it.
Yeah.
It was it. He was, man. He was. I remember I wasn't a heavy basketball watcher, but I used to watch basketball even from Nigeria. I used to watch the NBA. I used to like the Orlando Magics. I remember when Tokoglu was there, Dwight Howard, Superman. I used to like the Orlando Magics.
That Turkaloo could shoot a 3 like nobody's business, man. I'm like, man, how does he shoot like that?
That guy.
I know you talking about.
What does he remind me of?
He kind of shoots like Luka right now. That's the comparison that I see. The way Luka
like
shoots.
The wind up is so slow. Like But yeah, Nelson was there, the point guard then.
Yeah, Jameer Nelson. I'll never forget. I had
So
such high hopes for them, and I'm like, they go win one.
I know.
They
And
go
then
win
was it
one.
Cleveland that knocked them out? The
Yeah,
playoffs
I think
knocked them
so.
out.
Yeah, LeBron was a force to be dealt with.
Yeah, LeBron. Yeah. So I remember that's when I started watching basketball. And of
Yeah.
course, I knew of the Lakers and then that dynasty that was the Lakers with Shaq and
Hmm.
and Kobe, obviously. So yeah, Kobe would be the name, be the
Okay.
name that I'll put out there. Yeah.
I'm glad you transitioned to basketball. You know, the playoffs are going on right now. I think the Knicks are playing, if it's not over already.
Oh, tell me the
The
score. Are they
Pacers.
losing?
They probably are. Let me check. I'm pretty sure they were down by 20 when I was watching earlier.
Yeah, they
Yes,
went down by
51-82. Indiana's
whoa,
up, and it's just still the third quarter.
whoa,
So I think this game is done for.
whoa.
But
That's
who do you,
29 points. Whoa.
yep. Let's just run through the four series that's left. And what I want you to do is tell me who you think is going to win that series.
Okay.
So right now, Knicks Pacers.
Next,
Okay. Mavericks Thunder.
Mavs.
Hmm.
Too much experience.
Okay.
The OKC, they're too young.
Okay. All right.
Maybe next
Celtics,
year.
maybe next year. But they were the number one though. What they number one in
Yeah.
it? They're too
Eh.
young. Okay.
The thing is, they were consistent enough to get there, but
Hmm.
the playoffs is a different ball
Animal.
game. A
Hmm.
different ball game.
I think the
It-
same thing too.
yeah,
I think Kyrie, his experience alone
yeah.
is enough to carry them over.
I actually thought Kyrie was going to be quiet, and that would make the Mavs lose.
Hmm.
But I've been seeing he's awake now. You know, it
Yeah.
seems like he's enjoying his basketball now in Dallas.
Yeah.
You know, he's gone through a torrid, or turbulent past years. You know, at different
Teams.
basketball teams.
Yeah.
But at Dallas, it just is a little bit of happiness you can see on him. He's smiling now. You know, there's no
Hmm.
that drama surrounding him. So it might be, you know, it might be Kyrie that might get him past OKC.
Okay. All right. Celtics or Cavaliers?
I'll take the Celtics.
Okay. Yeah.
Now the Celtics, they need to be careful. I don't know. There's
I mean,
something.
I saw that in the game yesterday though, man. The way Jason Tatum was shooting that three, I'm like, man, if they keep shooting like this, it's gonna be hard to beat them, man. Like
Yeah,
hand in
just
your
like
face, he's swishing it.
yeah,
Like, damn.
yeah. Well,
I'm
if they can play like that
hmm
for 4 games in the series,
they'll win.
they'll win.
But that's everybody. All they need to win is 4 games. So
They can play on that level, like on
right.
that level, you know, just hitting their shots. Like what's his name? Derek White.
Yeah.
Like normally when you kind of match player for player for each individual basketball team playing against each other,
Hmm.
right? You say, okay, Donovan Mitchell and Tatum, they cancel out. Jalen Brown and maybe what was that their center? Mobley.
Hmm.
Let's say that matches out. So then you can now look at the rest of the squad and look at how, you know, who can provide points.
Right.
Derek White has now become an outlier. He is scoring.
Yeah, he is.
He just he just gets the ball and just and is in. So if he can keep doing that, they're gonna win. They're gonna
Okay.
win. It just can't. 3 point shooting is just the trend now. It's the way to go. So if you can outshoot and outscore your opponent, you're gonna win.
Thanks to the Warriors. Timberwolves or Nuggets.
That's a tough one.
Hmm.
But I'll take the Nuggets.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they figured it out.
Okay.
I think they figured it out. What do you think?
I think the Timberwolves are gonna win.
Yeah, I thought that too. I
Yeah.
thought the first 2 games.
Yeah.
But that third game, I saw
But
some things.
I
And
did too. I saw execution. I saw perfection. I saw every time we come down, we have a play that we're going to. And we're not deviating. We're not gonna let you control what we do. I saw grit. But I also think all of those things happened because they did not want to go down 3-0 to such a young team, especially as the defending champions. It's embarrassing. One, that they came into your home and beat you 2 times straight by double digits
Double
wins
digits, yeah.
both times. So it was a pride thing that they came in. Now they're gonna keep fighting like that in game 4. But I think now you've woken up Minnesota too, because Minnesota is like, we're not about to go 2-2. All the work we did in Denver was not for nothing. Let's get this 3-1. And then if we have to go back to Denver, we can close it out in Denver. We've won there twice already and get some rest. And I think that's what's going to happen because they beat them without Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, they did.
You know what I'm saying?
It seemed like when Rudy came back,
Yeah, they weren't in rhythm anymore. It's
yeah, it
like
seemed like
because when
something
you
was
switch that rotation,
because that second game without
yeah,
Rudy, oh man, Minnesota was all
all
over
over them.
all
Yeah,
over Denver. It was all over them.
yeah.
Now, this is how I kind of like characterize this this type of scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I look at the best player in Minnesota, I look at the best player in Denver. In my mind, I'm like, who do I trust more?
Hmm.
And of course, I'm thinking, Jokic, this is a 3rd-time MVP in
I don't
Jokic
even
tenure.
think he deserved the MVP this year, but that's a different
I
topic.
I know, right?
That's
A
a
lot of
different
people came,
topic,
a lot of
man.
people came out, and then we watched Shaq said, and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know the exact criteria for
I
giving
think
out
they look at how many games you played. Like you have to play at the minimum a certain amount of games. So
65, I think.
yeah, yeah. So the fact that Embiid missed, I feel like Embiid would have won if he didn't miss
Yeah,
those games. But
man,
then I
and
also feel like Jalen Brunson is deserving because of what he's done for the Knicks all year long. Like to carry a team. It's no different than when Derrick Rose won that MVP that one year. That people
in
were like,
Chicago,
LeBron,
yeah,
yeah, LeBron should have won. But I'm like, Derrick Rose brought his team up all the way up from, since Jordan had left, nobody had done that in Chicago. So he was gonna win
yeah,
that year.
man.
So
Chicago's they've been on a slide now for 10 years. That's
yeah,
crazy.
it
They're
is.
just sliding down.
Yep.
And since I left Chicago, I've not changed things. I'm still a bull. I'm a bear too, but man, they make it so hard sometimes. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know, man.
do.
That front office, I don't know what they're doing. They are talking about they want to what they call that stuff when you don't want to, you're not winning, you're not losing, you're just in the middle. Um,
Hosting.
yeah, it's all they're doing. It's just coasting. It's just it sucks, man. And Zach has been on a trade block for months now, but he's
Yep.
injured, so contract is too big. I don't know if he's going to take it.
Yep.
DeMar DeRozan, I don't know. He's 34 years old. They don't know if
Yep.
they can. If it's going, he wants to sign another contract, but then he wants to take. He wants 3 years, and the both are like, no, we'll just give you maybe 2 years, or maybe 1 year and a player option. But
I feel
that's still a deadlock.
I feel like for them to have a team like that, they need a defensive minded coach or a coach who will galvanize the troops and be like, go get this W or go do like this. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's gonna make it.
Yeah,
I can't even tell you their coach's name right now. I don't know.
Billy Donovan, nice guy. Nice guy that don't know how to make adjustments. Like
Exactly.
when you see your team, they're running your team down to the ground, and all you have to do is just make one tiny adjustment, but you can't do it. It's strange to me sometimes. And they
Hmm.
have some good players.
They do.
Kobe, Ayo, they all came to their they are maturing now.
That's
Although
why I said they need a coach, man.
yeah, Kobe is still inconsistent. Ayo
Yeah.
is actually on the up. You know,
Hmm.
But yeah, Vucevic is just old, man. Vucevic is old, man. We saw that guy play, the way he turns, just like
Like
it
he's
turns like
gonna
a
break his
cyborg.
knee.
Yeah, it turns like a cyborg. I don't know. They need
Anyway.
to change. You need to change. They need to get a new center. They need to get a younger center. They need to get at least two power forwards. Patrick Williams, I don't know. He's been injured he was injured for this past season too, and he also has been inconsistent. So the team there is just inconsistency there with their coaching, with the players. Everything is just not consistent. It's just, you know, one game they'll come out and wow you, the next game they just take you back to where you were 2 days before. So it's just like, okay, what kind of game are you guys playing? So, but yeah, so I think Denver. I take Denver over Minnesota. I just feel like the Joker is just the better player in that series.
Okay.
Jamal he played pretty well last game. So I think he has whatever was troubling him. I think is behind him now. So we might get a better showing from Jamal going forward. So now, Ant-Man, I don't know. Is the guy is box office, you know? It's reminding us of prime Jordan, but he is not Jordan. He's not. Then Cat, Anthony Towns. I like him, you know. He can shoot, but I don't know. Denver, I don't know. I don't see them coming back. I see them coming back, but I think it might go to 7. The series.
Okay.
Yeah, and Denver might just nip it in the last game.
Well, that's it for today. I want to say a big thank you. Shout out for coming on here, talking to us, taking us back to what you've been through, sharing your underdog story, and even discussing some sports. If people want to follow you, do you want to shout out any businesses come up or social media where they can find you, ask more questions?
Yeah, if you want to find me on Instagram, just search my name. My name is Tayo Omoseni. If you just search my name, correct, you can find it.
Okay.
Or maybe you can leave my name on the thumbnail or something.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, they can just search that, you're gonna find me. But you know, I'm trying to hide from them DMs. I don't want to. I don't be going there. You know,
I heard that.
I have a Facebook account. Probably I haven't opened it in months. And the other reason why I have Instagram is just to, you know, scan through the things. So many informational things on there. So that's why I'm still on there. But if not, who needs social media?
Right.
But yeah, but yes, you can find me. You can find me there. Well, yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And with that said, we'll leave with the music. Hey. Wow, down my It's all right.